Okay, Daria. So thanks for joining the call. And could you please introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about yourself?
Hi everyone, I'm Daria. I'm 17, almost 18. I'm from Poland, and I've been attending iOS, JDJ iOS for almost a year now, like a school year, since I got back from my student exchange from the US.
What made you decide to go to the US in the first place?
Well, so I've always dreamed about going to the US to study since I was a little girl. I don't know why the US. I have no idea why. But I decided that I want to try to go on an exchange first, and also I love learning new languages, so I thought it would be a great opportunity to like practice my English and get better at it. So that's why I decided to go.
And you're a high school student, so it's a high school exchange, to make
Yeah.
it clear to our viewers. And how do you think that experience has shaped you? How do you think you benefited from that experience? What are your thoughts?
Well, the exchange was a life-changing experience, definitely. I became way more confident. I kind of discovered who I am because I had a lot of time to think about myself and my life, and I met a lot of new people who kind of helped me shape who I am now, which
Mhm.
I'm really grateful for.
Did you make friends with people from the US, or did you make friends? Did you spend time with international people? What was that like? How did you spend your free time when you were there?
I had a lot of, like, I made a lot of American friends there, and I would hang out with them all the time. But I was
Mhm.
also great friends with the two exchange students that were also attending the same school that I was. One was from Sweden, and the other one was from Germany. So I was friends with them and with the Americans. So
Okay, cool. Do you keep in touch with your friends from the
yeah,
US?
all the time.
Okay, wonderful. Okay, so you at some point you knew that you have to go back to Poland. Did you look forward to going back to a Polish school?
No, I would literally have nightmares about going back to Polish high school, and I felt so helpless because I was so happy at the time. I was attending school where I felt safe, where I felt like I was actually doing things that I'm going to use in life later on, and I just didn't feel like I was wasting my time. I just really loved school there. So I was really sad when I was thinking about going back to Poland because I knew my mental health would get so much worse the
Mm.
moment I get back. So I was not looking forward to this.
Do you feel like you missed anything by not going to a Polish school, a Polish high school for the past
Oh,
the last 2 years? Is it? Yeah.
well, I'm really sad that I missed prom, like
Okay.
studniówka.
Yeah.
That's one thing I wish I could like go to.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like if someone put a test in front of me and like my friend who goes to a Polish school from a Polish class, then I would probably be worse at it, because I don't have the same information they have. But at the same time, I feel like I wouldn't remember anything from high school anyway, like from Polish
Yeah.
class. So I don't know. It's a hard question.
So what happened? So you were about to go back to Poland and you were thinking on how to ditch Polish school. What
Yeah.
solution uh, did you come up with for that problem?
Well, so me and my mom were scrolling through the internet and
Mhm,
looking for different solutions.
mhm,
I was thinking about going to Great Britain to
mhm.
go to high school there, but that was pretty expensive. It didn't work out anyways. I was obviously also thinking about doing another year in the US, but that was even more expensive. So I thought about that for 10 seconds, and that was it. Um, and then my mom found the American high school program.
Okay, so what is JDJ iOS, JDJ International Open School? I know that I should explain that, but how about you say it in your own words? Because you are going through the experience and I'm providing it, but I'm more curious how you define it.
I would say that JDJ iOS is just the opportunity to do American high school from Poland or
Mhm,
um, also from other countries for other people. we're talking about Poland here. So, um, and I would say it's a really great thing, and I feel like it should have been available way before 2021 because I feel like it's a necessary thing because there are a lot of people who would love to do it. So I'm glad something like this exists.
How has online learning allowed you to pursue your passions or your interests?
Thanks to online learning, I have so much free time
Mm-hmm.
and I can just focus on what I want to do because usually I study for like 4 hours, 5 hours a day, let's say,
Mm-hmm.
at the most. And then I have the rest of the day for myself, and I can, I don't know, go to a dance class or go play piano, or go meet with my friends if I feel like
Mm-hmm.
it, or I can focus on YouTube because I have a YouTube channel.
Yeah.
So that's how it helped me.
Hey guys, look at the link below to check out Daria's YouTube channel. It's awesome. You
Thanks.
also vlog in English, right? You have some episodes where
Yeah,
you.
sometimes I do.
Or what's your favorite subject, and what are the key differences between the learning content that you have in the American school as compared with the content back in the Polish school?
I think my favorite class so far is English class
Mm-hmm.
because I just, as I said, I love languages.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and what's different about it in American high school, I mainly do like writing and researching things and just learning about, you know, like books and stuff, and that's what I like. While in Poland, obviously, we're mainly learning about like what tense should I use, like past or present, or
Mm-hmm.
just like verbs, which was obviously necessary to learn the language. But at the same time, I feel like we could have done more writing and talking and just using the language itself.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what we do in American high school mainly.
And how does your communication with the teachers look like?
Usually, I just text my teachers whenever I have a question because it's the
Mm-hmm.
easiest and the fastest way. But
Mm-hmm.
if I need to have a call with them, I can
Mm-hmm.
just message them and ask like, "Hey, can you call me at this time?" And they will gladly do it, and they will gladly help me. So
Mm-hmm.
you can do whatever you prefer. If you prefer to
Mm-hmm.
call your teachers, you can do that. But you can also just text them.
Mm-hmm. What about the time difference? Is that an issue?
Not really, because I figured that when I text my teachers after like 12
Mm-hmm.
o'clock, they always respond right away. So I guess it's morning for them already. So
Mm-hmm.
it's not really an issue for me.
Are teachers the only people that you communicate with on regular basis, or are there any other people?
There are also student counselors.
And what is student counselor's job? What does the student counselor help you
The
with?
student counselors always make sure I don't have any problems with anything. They
Mm-hmm.
always check on me. They text me like once every week, I think,
Mm-hmm.
to see if everything is going good, if I need help with anything. And if I
Mm-hmm.
do, they always answer my questions and help me, so that's good. And they're just there to make sure I don't have any problems.
You can access learning materials in different forms of learning materials. Can you talk a little bit about this?
There are a lot of videos, games, quizzes. There are also links to like informative websites where you can read even more information if you need to. There
Mm-hmm.
are obviously textbooks um, and some exercises for
Mm-hmm.
you. Is the material you've just learned.
And do you attend any extracurricular activities? Like, do you have you joined any student clubs?
Yeah, I've joined two clubs technically,
Mhm.
because I'm in a school newspaper club and
Mhm.
also a cooking club. And in a
Mm.
cooking club, usually the teacher that is like the head of it asks us about like, hey, what's your typical breakfast dish in your country or something like that. And
Mhm.
people who are in that class send pictures or like explain what their breakfast dish is or whatever. And sometimes they also like have video calls
Mhm.
where they, I don't know what they do because I never joined one because of the time difference and I'm never home when they call me. But I guess they usually, I think they cook together or something, which is really fun. And in a newspaper club, we obviously just like write articles. There was one situation, I remember that day we had a grammar test and I
Mhm.
scored 15 out of 15. And three of my classmates that were American got like 12 out of 15, which is not bad. Obviously, it's still a good result,
Yeah.
but considering that they were Americans and that was like their native language and not mine, that was kind of funny.
So what are the biggest challenges that you face in terms of online schooling?
I think the biggest, it's not a challenge, but it's a little bit annoying that I need
Mhm.
an internet connection, like a good internet connection to do school, which is not hard to get,
Mhm.
especially when you do it from home. You usually have Wi-Fi at home. But I
Mhm.
love studying at the cafes, and sometimes the internet is not too fast, and
Mhm.
that's kind of annoying. And also, I gotta say, sometimes I feel a little bit alone doing school.
Mhm.
But just like in terms, like I think that I could be sitting in a classroom full of people, and I'm
Mhm.
not. I'm just sitting here by myself. But it's not necessarily a bad thing because then I remember that those people will probably annoy me and not let me focus on my work. So it's not really a problem.
You will graduate soon and you'll go to
Yeah.
uni. What are your plans for the future? What do you want to do after you finish high school?
For now, I'm
Mhm.
planning on studying directing or just filmmaking in
Mhm.
general, probably in the US
Mhm.
or maybe in Europe. I'm not sure yet
Mhm.
because the problem with the US is that it's so far away from
Mhm.
my friends, my family here. That's like the worst part about it. So I don't know. We will see.
But it's a great idea because it's closely linked to your passion, to your hobby, which is video blogging, right? We have a great film school in Łódź, right?
Hmm.
So are you considering going there?
No, I'm definitely not gonna study in Poland. That's one thing I know
Okay.
for sure. I might do like a gap year and
Mhm.
stay in Poland or travel around Europe. I don't
Mhm.
know, just to like
Mhm.
have time to spend some time with my friends and with my family.
Mhm.
But I don't want to spend like 4 years studying in Poland. I want to go somewhere else and see the world.
Yeah, that's worth it. I also did a gap year. I used to teach English in China to primary school
Ooh.
kids. So, do you see any differences in terms of the practicality of the content that you learn in the American school as compared to the one you learned back in the Polish school?
I think that in American high school online there are less unnecessary details
Mhm.
and they're more focused on like general knowledge that is
Mhm.
actually useful in life and that is like necessary to know, but it
Mhm.
also doesn't take all your like energy and time to learn, which is good because you still have time to do the
Mhm.
things you love, not only
Mhm.
school. Yeah, so I think
And mhm.
it's way more practical.
What about some case studies? Do you often study things based on real life case studies?
Uh, yeah, I mean, especially for like a history class or like an English class, we often do like research papers that
Mm-hmm.
we have to and we have to read a lot about the topic to write the research paper. And it's usually based on some live real events.
Do you feel like American curriculum is more problem based than the curriculum in Poland? Do you feel like you're focusing on how to solve real world problems a little bit or not really? Just be
Yeah,
honest.
I
Okay.
think a little bit yes, but
Mm-hmm.
it's still school, so it's still mainly about like
Mm-hmm.
you know knowledge, not necessarily life itself.
Mm-hmm.
But
There's still some rote memorization that you have
yeah.
to do for the exams. It's still a standardized model of education, but I believe that we should slightly and gradually start moving away from that model of education because
Hmm.
it's more how school worked back in the 20th or even the 19th century. If you go back to the industrial area, people were all learning the same thing because they were all being prepared to work in the factories. They were
Hmm.
all about to join certain workforce and they all would do the same thing. Whereas now we still have the same model of education. We still have this 19th or 20th century model of education, but the world looks different. Like many jobs will be replaced due to automation, and what you're learning now might be totally obsolete in a few years time. So do you feel like the fact that you're learning online, that you learn online, that you use a computer, smartphone or tablet for learning, do you feel like that is preparing you for your future life, for your future job? Do you feel like it's beneficial, or do you think it would be no different if you went to a traditional school?
I think it is a little bit more beneficial for me,
Mm-hmm.
especially if I want to go. First of all, if I want to go study to the US,
Mm-hmm.
they always use like computers in school. They don't really use notebooks anymore. So
Mm-hmm.
it would be a shock for me if I came from like a Polish school and writing in my notebook everything down,
Mm-hmm.
to having all my classes on my
Mm-hmm.
computer. That would be a little hard for me to like get used to. But now, since I'm doing online school already, it's not going to be a big of a difference for me. So it's going to
Mm-hmm.
be easy in that matter. And also, if I want to do something in like filmmaking field, then I guess my job is also gonna be kind of computer based. So it's gonna be helpful, definitely.
You went abroad to the US, where you spent a year studying in a high school during an exchange program. Now you are doing a study abroad, but you're in Poland and you're studying online. And what advantages do you think you have over your peers back in Poland in terms of that? Like, how has it shaped you as a person? How has it helped you? Try to think like introspectively, maybe like in terms of how it made you feel. Do you feel more confident? Do you feel like uh, you have more influence over your own future, over planning your own future than your friends have? And has it made you a better person or not? And what have you learned by getting to know people from other countries, other cultures?
I can definitely have that I have way more life experience now
Mhm.
than my friends or any other people my age. I definitely feel way more confident now. I feel
Mhm.
like I can get through anything and that I can handle everything myself if I had
Mhm.
to. I also feel like I'm more responsible now,
Mhm.
and I definitely got more mature
Mhm.
over that year, which is also a really important thing. Um, I don't know. I just feel like I'm a better and stronger person, and that nothing can really bring me down. Yeah.
Do you feel like you have become more disciplined and more responsible for your own work by attending an online school?
Oh yeah, definitely. Because there's no one to like motivate me to the school or make sure I'm there doing all my classes. I have to do it myself. I have to
Mhm.
put myself and motivate myself every single
Mhm.
day to do the classes.
Mhm.
Because no one is gonna do it for me. So I definitely feel more
Mhm. Okay,
disciplined.
cool. Before you went to America, did you have any stereotypes about people of other cultures, of people or of other backgrounds that uh, turned out to be completely untrue?
No, I don't think so.
Okay, okay. How was your English when you before you went to the US? Did you also have those worries that uh, many students who are aspiring to join an American online school have right now at the time when you were applying, when you were going to the US?
Uh-huh. I knew I had a good foundation after
Mm-hmm.
like 12 years of learning English in Polish
Mm-hmm.
school, but I was really scared that my English was not good enough and I wasn't fluent at all.
Mm-hmm.
Like I knew all the words in my head and stuff, but I
Mm-hmm.
didn't really know how to use them in real life because I never had a chance to try it. So yeah, I was definitely super scared. I remember the first like 2 weeks in the US, I was barely saying anything, just like random words like "Hi, good morning, how are you?" And that
Mm-hmm.
was it because I was
Yeah.
too scared to speak English. But then I got used to it. I'm here.
Is there any funny situations that you want to share with us, or any embarrassing situations that you don't mind sharing with us from the very onset of your exchange experience?
Wait, let me think. Because there were a lot of funny situations. Um, I don't know what was the funniest one.
Like maybe you didn't understand something, or you assumed a different thing than someone meant, and some misunderstanding happened or something like that.
Yeah, I'm sure something like that had happened, but I can't remember anything right now.
Okay, no worries. Maybe another time. Do you feel like you were overwhelmed when you were studying back at a Polish school as compared to the American school right now, with
Yeah.
the amount of content and the amount of subjects that you had to take?
Yeah, I was extremely unhappy when I was in Polish school.
How many courses, how many subjects did you take when you were in your first or second year of high school, and how many subjects or how many courses are you taking right now?
I think in first grade of high school, I was
Mhm.
taking like 16 different classes, and
16. Wow.
it wasn't my choice, obviously. I just had to do it. And now I have 8 different courses to finish this year. Um, yeah, I felt super overwhelmed and super anxious all the time. I didn't have time for anything else than studying and doing my homework. And I was super tired because I also didn't have time for sleep or anything else, as I
Yeah.
said. So my mental health was really bad.
How about choice? Because back in the traditional school in Poland, you had, like, most of the subjects were compulsory. You have no choice. You have to take them, right? What about
Yeah.
in the US school system? Uh, you have to take certain courses from within certain fields, right? So what did you pick? What are you doing? What do you do in terms of science, social sciences, language, and so on?
Okay, so right now I'm taking English class,
Hmm.
chemistry, health class,
Hmm.
uh, history. Like it's not American history; it's a world history class. Economics, but I finished that one. Oh wait, what am I forgetting about? Math, obviously.
And health.
Um, yes.
It's nice because you can pick what you want to study, right? So you wouldn't have to take. You could replace chemistry with bio. You don't have to take biology or physics if you're already taking chemistry. How was it back in Poland?
Well, you had to take all of them. You had to take biology, chemistry, physics, and everything else. You had no choice.
I remember, actually, I went to a Polish school myself, although not high school, but I went to middle school. We still had middle schools at that time. Okay, is there anything that you wish to share with other teenagers who are considering this kind of education, and what tips would you give them, and what tips would you give to current students who might not be as good as you in self-discipline?
I would tell them to take it easy
Mm-hmm.
and not stress too much because there's nothing to stress about. They should start viewing education as something really beneficial and something exciting, even, I would say, because I get excited every single morning to do school. I don't know about other people, but I love learning new things, especially when I don't have to like stress about all those stupid things that I had to stress about in public school. So there's that, and also if they're not super self-disciplined, it's something they should just work on because
Mm-hmm.
that you can make it a habit if you want to. You have to just work for it, and if you really want to finish this school and thank yourself later, you should do it.
If they need help with motivation, and we can they can also take advantage of the educational mentor service that we can offer to students locally in Poland, who is a person who helps parents monitor and monitor students' academic progress and motivate the student. Anyways, you mentioned that you don't really stress when you study. Um, is it due to the fact that in an American school, students have quizzes and little tests much more frequently than in Polish school, which is more based on, or a traditional school, which is more based on summative assessment, where students have one big exam at the end of the term that usually determines the grade, the final grade. Do you feel like it is the case?
So I think it's definitely the case, but also the fact that I feel like no one is there to judge me, and the teachers are there to help me. That's also
Mm-hmm.
big factor of why I don't feel stressed anymore about school, because I
So
know
you
there.
feel like there's no other kids who see your performance? Is that what you mean, or
No,
not exactly?
no, it's not about the kids, because
For
when I'm
students.
it's more about like the teachers, because I
Mm-hmm.
would always feel judged by the teachers
Mm.
in Polish schools.
Okay.
Not all of them. There are some great teachers out there who love what they do and they are great at their job. But
Mm-hmm.
usually, I don't know. Sometimes I felt like like we were the outlet for the teachers,
Mm-hmm.
uh,
To let
being
their emotions out. They're not happy at
yeah,
home, so they use
exactly.
you as a punishment, right? Yeah.
Exactly. And I feel like if you did something wrong in Polish school, they would make you feel bad for it instead of trying to help you understand the material,
Mm.
which is not the case here.
Do you feel more at ease in terms of your grades? Do you think the school is a little bit easier or not?
Maybe a little bit,
Mm-hmm.
just because, as I said, there's less like unnecessary details and just less material
Mm-hmm.
in general. There's still a lot of work to do. It's not
Yeah.
like it's the easiest school in the world and there's
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
nothing you
Of
had to
course, of
do.
course. Mhm.
Yeah, but it is a little bit easier.
So if you're going to study in the US, you probably have to take SAT exams. Now, even universities here in Europe, they also require you to take SATs if you apply with an American high school diploma. So are you planning on doing that soon, or is it something that you will do during your gap year or towards the end of your gap year?
Actually, I already took SATs
Oh,
twice.
okay.
Once
Good job.
when I was in the US, just to like see what it looks like,
Mhm.
and how you write it. And then I took it the second time at the end of 2021, just to
Mhm.
see if I could do better, and I did
Recently.
better. Yeah, and I'm actually really happy with like the final result.
Mhm.
But I'm probably gonna take it one more time just to see if I can do even better.
Good luck. And did you do it in Poland, or where did you take you took the first one in the back in the US
Yeah,
and the second one here. Where did you take it in Warsaw?
yeah, I did in Warsaw.
Okay. So you had to register on the website of College Board, right? Which is the
Hmm.
organization that oversees all the SAT exams all over the world, right? And
Hmm.
that was easy, right? No issues
Yeah,
with that. Okay.
it was super easy.